Hey YouTube, Burnt Training Garage, welcome to Project Scope Creep. This is my 1984 Chevy K5 Blazer. I bought 10 years ago for $400. In hindsight, that was $399 too much. I should have kept the money, searched for something in the desert, and sent this off to scrap. That is just that's the tip of the iceberg on rust on this thing. It looked like it literally came from the Great Lakes area. So with that, kind of go through and show you what all's been done to it and what needs to be done. So you can see in here, you got pieces of angle iron welded in there. The cab mount where it meets this side was completely rotted away and gone. I welded everything to the angle iron, welded it there. I made patches for everything. Okay, I just handmade patches. I cut out everything that was rusted, used it as templates, and just made my own patches. On the passenger side, I did use the pre-shaped floor pans and all that, and it's such a horrible fit every single time I've used any of those things. It always turns out so bad. This is not a concourse restoration by any means whatsoever. This is a rock crawler that is fixing to be a $10,000 drivetrain wrapped in a $50 tin can by the time I'm done. So I'm looking to stay dry and keep it from rotting away. That's the only goal I had when I was doing all this. I had to recreate the weather strip channel here, which was actually turned out really well. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, I went through and plugged up speaker holes that were in the doors. I've never liked that, and I want to go winter wheeling and everything, so I want this to also seal real well. Maybe you can put growth in here. Change the interior from tan over to gray, and then in total priority fashion went through and dynamated the whole door and dash pad or dash panel and everything, because yeah, again, that for some reason that was my priority at the time. Never mind, it doesn't have an engine, transmission transfer case, front clip, interior. We'll get to that. It does have a painless wiring harness in it. I did just get that installed. It's not completed. I'm gonna wait to put the engine in before I complete that. I'm even going through and replacing all the switches, so like headlight switches, stuff like that. Anything that can fail while I'm already in here, it's just getting done. All of it's getting done. So the rust even continued. It was all in the back over here, behind the front seats, where the seat belts were mounted down at the bottom were so rotted out that there's no way that was going to hold up in a wreck. So I went through, made my own patches for all that, reinforced everything. Did everything I could to make sure that at least the seatbelt may bolt. And again, water won't come in. The worst of the rust is actually in the back. And I apologize, there's a lot of crap back here. In project in progress. I'll start showing pictures. But I had to cut out the back 5 inches of this entire body. It was so rotted out. I cut it out 5 inches and from side to side. I then picked up a piece of 2x6, I want to say 120 wall, stretched the body a little bit in order to get the thing to fit in there, and welded it in place. I smoothed out all the bed ridges, I guess you want to call them, with a piece of dowel. Welded that all in, kind of smoothed everything out so that there's a nice transition there, and just went through and finished all that. Once everything was done on the floor, I went through and it's not Dynamat, it's not lizard skin, I forget the name of it, but went through and basically bed linered it. It's an at-home kit for a couple $100, and it looked great, but it chips easily, and that's probably on me for prep. So it's kind of disappointing, but I'm always going to keep a can of rubberized undercoating with me, I guess. As far as the suspension, drivetrain, everything like that goes, I did keep the 52-inch factory spring in the back. I did the Offroad Designs shackle flip, HD shackles with greasable bolts and bushings, front and rear. It's hard to see, but it does have a zero rate add a leaf in the back, which you can see right here. That's the center bolt for the axle on the spring, and you'll notice it's off. It's supposed to be here. Well, the add a leafs allow you to move the axle, so I have moved it 1.5 inches back to try and gain just a little bit more wheelbase out of this. This is a 14 bolt full floater. It has been shaved. That's a Ballistic Fabrication shave kit. If you can find it anywhere else, go with them. Do not go with Ballistic. Terrible service 8 years ago, and I still hold a grudge. So that is 456 gears with a Yukon locker, whatever their version of the Detroit is. Had originally only planned on running 35-inch tires, so that's why I only did 456 gears. And I still haven't figured out the transmission yet. It had a 700R4, I'm not running that. I have a 4L60E, which has better first gear than a 4L80. The 4L60s are garbage. I'm looking for a 6L80, honestly. If I can figure out how to bolt that thing in there, figure out how to control it, and find one for a decent price, I'm probably going to go that route. So in the front, I did do, again, Offroad Designs. I live in Colorado, so I love these guys. They're Colorado-based. So Offroad Designs, heavy-duty shackles. Again, greasable bushings all the way around. Those are Tough Country 4-inch springs. I did initially do the DIY 4x, they're out of Ohio. Their B52 kit in order to run the rear spring in the front, 52-inch spring in the front. It's supposed to give you a good ride, but it relocates the axle. And ORD has a sway bar kit for this that I would really like to run. This still needs to be able to go down the highway in a lot more manageable fashion than my JK on 38s. So I decided just to run the 4-inch springs rather than run the 52-inch. This is a Dana 44, which I really wish I had a Dana 60 sitting down here, but that's just not in the budget right now. I already had the gears for this and everything, so it wasn't a difficult build. 456 gears, no pot, no locker, nothing in the front, it's open diff, and again running 35-inch tires. Kind of hard to break these with that combination. You have to do something really stupid for that to happen. So I can at least run it for now. I guess whenever I get around to wanting a front locker, then I'll find a Dana 60 for it. Don't worry, I'll trim those off. I just bolted this in for now, needed to see where it's set. I originally planned on putting that same 0 rate 1-inch block in the front, so I can move the front axle forward 1.5 inches, but again, that makes running a sway bar very difficult. For those of you who are astute on old vehicles, you have already noticed that something is wrong here. Yeah, I've spent the last 10 years working on newer vehicles that rotors just slide on. I forgot. On these older vehicles, you have to press the studs through the rotor first and then the hub. So the rotor's supposed to be on this side. So I get to knock out all 16 of these and try again and unbolt it and take everything off, and yeah, I'm real thrilled about how that turned out. I do have steering box braces. I got the brace that'll go here, I got the one that goes underneath, and I even have a little triangulation piece that's supposed to kind of go in here to make that as stiff as possible. Offroad Designs, big block, high clearance Crossmember. That exhaust will get cut out, by the way. I did that Crossmember because I am running a 2007, I want to say, 6-liter. I got this out of a Chevy Express 1-ton passenger van, had 160,000 miles on it, ran just fine, it got T-boned. So it's been sitting on this engine stand for about 10 years now, so I'm going to put all new gaskets and seals on it, but I'm not rebuilding it. I'm not going to re-ring it or put new bearings, none of that. I'm just going to bolt it in and hope everything's fine. I really like stock. I really like OEM as much as possible. So hoping that doesn't have any issues with me. What else? The doors have been taken off. I've replaced the bushings in those. I've had these things completely stripped apart to fix everything in them. And again, those bushings, an old truck like this, kind of hit just this little bit of detent. Oh, God. Where was I? Maybe here. There we go. We hit this detent out here. Alright, that's what I was looking for. Of course, it only does that when I'm trying to do a video. I did find a company that sells an entire rebuild kit for these sliders. All new gaskets and seals all the way around. Completely rebuilds both windows. Wasn't a cheap kit. I want to say it was probably about $500, but I want to keep these. I absolutely love these sliders in the back. I didn't want solid plate window, so I'm going to tear these apart and rebuild them. Top's probably going to come off so I can put a roll cage in it. Once this is off, by the time that happens, there will be literally 4 bolts. 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts that I will not have touched. And those are the cab mounts. 2 on here, 2 in the front. That's it. In this entire thing. I've had the mirrors off. I've had door handles off. I've had everything in this truck taken off. Those 4 bolts will be the only ones I didn't touch. So, that brings us back to Project Scope Creep. This was never meant to be a complete, almost frame-off restoration, but it turned out to be that way. You can see by the list, there's still a lot to get done. A whole lot. And I'm working on it. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you like these old things. I know there's a lot of people who still love the K5s, square bodies, all that. If you want to see what happens to it, please follow. I will be working on it all winter long. It has to get done. It has to get done this year. I need it out of my garage. I need this space for other projects. I had to hammer out Project Lazarus out in the driveway as fast as I could because we're approaching winter. I mean, Thanksgiving's tomorrow, so we're already there. But I needed to get that done as soon as possible because I wasn't going to work on it while snow was falling because I don't have any room in my garage to work on. So this has to get done this winter so I can get it out, I can get it on the trails, and I can get other things in for temporary work. So again, if you like it, if you like these, follow along. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I will read them. Like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Talk to you then.